everybody, welcome to another Horror Sunday. Horror Review Sunday. Let's talk about the sequel to the remake of House on Haunted Hill, which came out 8 years after the remake in 2007. And this has Amanda Righetti from the Friday the 13th reboot. And Amanda Righetti, isn't that the same name? I mean, fictional, I guess, and because it's the character's name in Deep Red, Dario Argento's movie. She was the chick that got like the bathtub kill that was later done in Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. Hate that I have to specify which one. There's so many damn Halloween movies. Okay, so yeah, we got Amanda Righetti, and then we got the Cerina Vincent from Cabin Fever, the girl who was like shaving her legs. That iconic scene from that movie. And then we got this guy from Wrong Turn 3 who I recognized, and this is from the director of Hellraiser Revelations. If that doesn't sell you on this, I don't know what will. So, yeah, let's get into the plot synopsis. So this movie takes place a few years after the first one. Somehow, the surviving people from the first one made it down from that ledge and didn't do shit with their money because the surviving girl from the first one commits suicide, or so we think, and her apartment looks like shit. So where that $1 million she got from the first one went, I don't know. I'm not sure where she spent her money, but it wasn't on her place. But yeah, we're following the sister of Sarah, the surviving girl of part one. Her sister commits suicide, so she looks into why, and then she gets this journal and finds out about this statue idol thing from the haunted house that's worth millions, and it has this power in it that just brainwashes people and just makes them go nuts. And then this group of assholes kidnaps her, drags her to the place, like, show us where the idol is. Surely your sister told you where it's at. And then that's the story. So she gets dragged there forcibly against her will with her boyfriend, who I think is her boyfriend. Either that or he's just a gay photographer. Because I think she calls him her friend at one point. So maybe it's just her friend. So anyways, you got, Group A and bad guy Group B forcing Group A to building, and then ghosts are there tearing them apart one by one. It's a we need to get out of here and try to escape movie. So the cons for this movie is that the scares and the visuals, some of the atmosphere does not live up to the remake. I thought the remake did all that shit better. The scares in this movie just feel lazily done, just like some ghost doing like some fast forward thing with her head. It's not scary stuff. It's just nothing. And then there's some bad CGI in spots, especially like the fiery demons towards the end. They look awful. And then I don't like that there's this statue idol thing that's just randomly shoehorned into the plot to get this explanation about why they're there again. Because what it does is it explains why Jeffrey Combs' character, Dr. Vanikit, I think was the name, it explains why he went mad. In the first one, I think it was just he went mad. He was just a crazy, mad doctor, scientist who had crazy methods of how to make people sane. I like that better than like, oh, he was just influenced by this crazy statue. Like he went crazy because of a statue that he looked at, and it was like brainwashing him and making him like he was just a puppet on strings now. Not a fan of that explanation that we get in this one. I would just prefer that Jeffrey Combs was crazy. And I like that we get Jeffrey Combs a lot more in this one. So I guess that would be my positive. Those are really my only negatives. This movie's fine. I liked it. I didn't love it, but it's a good sequel. Not a fantastic movie, but it has elements that I like better than the remake. But as a whole, the remake is better than this one. That's what I would say. I would say the remake overall is better than this, but this has some elements that I really liked more. For instance, the nudity. Especially that after credit sequence. Whew, that chick was perfect. And so yeah, we got lots of nudity. The remake had 0, I believe. And the gore in this one, the kills, all of them, like very creative, very gnarly and brutal. This guy gets like broken in half and dragged through a wall. Kind of reminded me of that one kill in The Hills Have Eyes 2. The remake one, not the original one. And So yeah, fantastic brutal kills and good gore. I also like that the house looked the same and the continuity there with like the set where they go into the main room, the entryway, whatever that place, just the table still there with all the broken glass on it, all the cobwebs, like it's not been, cleaned in a while. Continuity, the attention to detail there, I appreciate. And the continuity with the story, like they actually have this character attached to the surviving girl of the first one. So even the characters, or they have continuity. The story, besides the statue thing that kind of just gets thrown in, that was not mentioned at all in the first one. I like some of the atmosphere in the movie, like the house still looks creepy on the outside, in the inside, and some of the set designs. That room that's like made of flesh and has like a skeletal system on the wall. Cool looking stuff. They don't show it enough. Maybe it looked bad with too much light on it, maybe, so they kept the room lit darkly. But yes, there's some cool sets in here, and like I said, the gore and the kills. I like that we get more Jeffrey Combs in here, but I don't like the explanation we get behind his character and all his reasoning, why he's crazy. And the one character that I really liked in this movie was Kyle. He was the comic relief. Other than that, the other characters were just, man, like there's the characters that you want to die because they're the hired guns or, the bad guys. And then the other characters, the good ones, fine. But Kyle was funny, had the best moments, and was my favorite character. So, final thoughts, I thought this movie was overall good. It just could have been better, shot, better atmosphere, better scare sequences. Not a whole lot of good scare sequences. It's mainly just good gore and kills and some good nudity if you're into that. And some continuity that I really appreciated. So just overall a fine movie. If you love the remake, go into this one with mild expectations. Don't expect too much from it. Don't expect it to be better than that one. But it's a worthy sequel. So when it comes to Return to House on Haunted Hill, maybe consider streaming this one or renting it at Redbox. Alright, spoiler discussion. So we hear that Sarah killed herself, and continuity that's broken is the actress Ali Larter did not come back, and this woman looked nothing like Ali Larter. And so they break into the crime scene to find out what was going on, if she really did kill herself, what drove her to this. They go in there to investigate, and it's against the law. They take down the tape. Can't do that. But they go in there, and like I said earlier, her apartment looks like shit. Where did all that money go? And I like that she sees her sister kill herself. Like she's already seen apparitions and ghosts. She sees the ghost of her sister blow her own brains out, and I thought that looked cool. Some CGI, but it looked good. Kind of a cool visual. And so she gets the journal in her mail that is like a map, I guess, or explains where the idol is inside the house. And just as soon as she gets that in the mail, the robbers come in, right after. As soon as she opens it up, there's the robbers. They know about it. They're there to get it. Then we find out that the main bad guy in this movie, who's not a ghost, is a former student. And that Michelle, the chick from Cabin Fever, is a traitor. Who didn't see that coming? And then they just shoot the cog wheels of the machine room that keeps the building on lockdown. They shoot the wheels to stop it, and it actually works at first. Or maybe the ghosts want them to think it's working. But yeah, I don't think that would work. So then we get this funny scene with Kyle and this guy from Wrong Turn 3, where he's like, I recognize you. Oh yeah, you're that UFC fighter. And they're hugging. They're like, yeah, I'm so glad you recognize me. And, you're making me feel like a celebrity. And then he's like, oh, by the way, you suck. And you fight like a lady. It was just hilarious in the moment. It actually made me laugh out loud. So the black guy dies first. We got that cliche. And he gets dragged through the wall. This hand comes out, and then the hand just grabs his guts. It's ripping his intestines out, and then he gets dragged through the hole, bent backwards like Sheriff Garris and Jason Lives. Great kill, very quick and brutal, just awesome. And every time somebody gets touched in this movie by a ghost, they have a flashback of memories of the ghost that's touching them for some reason. It's just a way for the film to kind of give you creepy, history with the house and what was going on back then, instead of just having all that in one scene at the beginning, showing you all that shit. They decided to like splice it into the movie. Like every time they got touched, you would get an extra piece of the story of what happened there before, which is fine. I like that the girl actually jumps out of the house before the doors close, and then she realizes that her boyfriend or her gay best friend, who she makes out with, but calls just her friend later on. So I guess it's like that gay friend that chicks make out with, which makes no sense to me. You're gay for a reason. You don't like girls, but you can make out with them. Whatever. It's probably a real thing. Whatever. So the door closes. She's free, but then she realizes that her gay lover is in there, and the door open up again just for her. Like, come on in. We got your friend in here, and she actually like gets a gun and goes running back inside like a hero, like Arkin at the end of the Collector when he sees that the little girl's still in there. He's like, "Fuck! I just made it out. There's freedom, but I gotta go back inside and be a hero." So I like that she actually went back inside. Makes her a more likable character, and it's smart that she got the gun first. Although she's a terrible shot and a hesitant shot, like pull the fucking trigger. And she's hesitant with the idol at the end. Like, what the fuck? Just throw it in there. She's all like dramatic with it. Like, I'm gonna slowly drop it in. It's like, no, drop it. Do it quicker. But we'll get there. So, yeah, we see these sexy ass ghosts. Oh man, that was like a very erotic scene. And then it turns into like The Shining. We have like a Jack Torrance moment where this lesbian's making out with these two dead ghosts, but they look sexy at first. You see their ass and their tits are like coming out of the straitjacket or whatever they're wearing, and then before she realizes it, they're like all slimy and rotted, and she runs out the room. She's freaking out, and she bumps into Jeffrey Combs, and then he like takes a scalpel to her face really fast, and then her face starts sliding off, like just the skin of her face, like a Leatherface moment, and it kills her. I mean, I'm sure you would bleed out, but instant death? I don't think so. So, but let's go back. So we have what I call a reference to The Thing. I think that's what's going on here. If this wasn't a clear reference to The Thing, I don't know what it's trying to do because it feels random. So before she goes into the house, she just stares at it and goes, "Fuck you too." Is that not clearly paying homage to McCready? And The Thing, where he's like, "Yeah, fuck you too," and throws the stick of dynamite. That's one of my favorite lines from that movie. It's something I quote all the time when I can. It's very easy to quote. Whenever someone pisses you off, you just go, "Yeah, fuck you too," and you throw a stick of dynamite at them and you blow them up. But that was a reference to The Thing, right? Obviously, come on. So, then we find out that the statue made the doctor go crazy, and I already said my piece on that. I don't like that explanation. And then we get this moment where this guy is being tortured, and the house calls all the other people that are still alive, and they all answer their phone. And one guy has like Kyle. He has the "Mary Had a Little Lamb" rap song playing. It was kind of funny. They all answer, and they have to like hear and listen to him like screaming in pain, like, "Listen to your friend suffer." Although that guy's one of the bad guys, so they don't give a shit. Like, whatever, kill him. He had a gun to my head like 10 seconds ago. Do what you want. But yeah, he's getting like his brain just removed. Pretty cool gore there. And so, what else happens after the brain's removed? We see that Kyle gets pushed into the pool, and this is a moment that's in a few horror movies. We've seen it before, where like they're in this water, and then all of a sudden bodies keep like floating to the top. It's always in supernatural movies like this. But yeah, that's some good, creepy stuff right there. There's not a whole lot of it in this movie, but that was a good moment. I like that. And like this other one comes out of the water, like starts grabbing her. She has like a flashback again, but then Kyle like sacrifices himself, like pushes the demon whatever away, and then it drowns him. So it's kind of a lame kill, but he's the best character, so I guess he deserves a lame, not so brutal kill. And then the cabin fever girl, she splits up from this one guy, the main bad guy, and she's in this room, and we have like a poltergeist moment, I think. It's like where all the chairs are like on the ground, but then she turns around, looks back, and they're all in the on the ceiling, and they all start falling down one at a time. And then she falls down, and then the fridge comes down and like smashes her head and just. And I like how she wastes an entire clip into the statue. Like, they finally find it, and then she just wastes an entire clip. It's like, the first bullet didn't do anything, the second, the third, the fourth. Why would you continue to shoot, like, all 10 bullets? You moron! And so, yeah, that was a dumb character moment that I just had to point out. And then we get like this Indiana Jones moment where they're looking at the statue, the idol, and they're like, let's be careful when we pick it up. And then as soon as they get it out off of the stump or whatever, the whole place starts shaking. They have to like run out. It reminded me very much of the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then we kind of get this little trope in here that's in a lot of horror movies where it's like, if we don't make it, I just want you to know I love you. But they're like, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. I swear to you. No one else is dying tonight. And so, Indiana Jones moment, the bad guy gets incinerated, he gets thrown into the crematorium, it gets cremated. He deserved it. Dr. Hammer gets brainwashed by the statue, he starts fighting Amanda Righetti's character, and then it starts like raining blood from the shower heads. Pretty cool scene visually, like that visual of the raining blood. And so, and then she finally, like, Hammer, he snaps out of it. He's distracting Jeffrey Combs. She finally gets the statue. There's a hole in the ground that leads to a sewer where it can leave the premises, and therefore the curse will be lifted. And she's just like sitting there, hovering over it with the statue. Just let it go. She like waits a couple of seconds. It's like, that's all that guy probably needs to snatch it out of your hands, you idiot. She's being all like dramatic about it, like, yeah, I'm about to drop it, motherfucker. And then she does, and it actually falls in the hole, leaves, and then they all just start like bursting into ashes, like the end of Infinity War, Avengers. Dust. And it's like, they've been pissed at Jeffrey Combs. All these dead ghosts are stuck there in like purgatory. They're like reliving their death over and over again, I think, or something. And they hate Jeffrey Combs because he's the evil doctor that killed them. And their revenge on him at the end here is 2 seconds long. Like, they surround him. He's like, no, get away. And then they like tackle him to the ground, and then they all just burst. So it's like, he didn't get to suffer like he should have. I mean, sure, he's in hell now, probably. And that's suffering right there for eternity, if you believe in that. And so that's the end of the movie. They walk out alive, and then we get this after-credits sequence where, kind of like at Jumanji, to reference another movie. I haven't seen that one in a long time, but kind of reminded me of the ending of that movie, where, you know, the game pops up on like this beach, and they find it in this movie. Same thing. They find the idol on the beach. They're like, what is it? Oh my gosh, it might be worth a lot of money. Any awards I have, let's go over them, shall we? Hockey Mask Award for Best Character in this film is Kyle, because, like I said, he's the comic relief, he has the funniest lines, and the Funny Bone Award for Funniest Moment is Kyle when he insults the UFC fighter. And the Clapper Award for Best Scene is the ghost threesome scene, because I'm a horny pervert. And the hottest chick in this movie is that beach babe at the very end after the credit sequence. And the best kill in this movie, for me, is Warren. The first guy to get killed, he gets his intestines pulled out and then broken in half when he gets dragged through the wall. And the worst kill in this movie is my favorite character, Kyle, who just simply drowns. And those are my thoughts on Return to House on Haunted Hill. Put all your thoughts of this sequel in the comments below. Do you prefer over the remake, not the original? Do you prefer over the original, like 1950s? 9? I want to say 1959. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like what you're seeing, you can hit this like button and become a Patreon for as little as $1 a month to request movie reviews and many more things. And become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.